Hi, I'm Mike Klimek, and many people try to figure out, should I start my own business or should I buy into a franchise? That depends. There's a lot of questions that go into that, questions that need to be carefully considered. Hey, if this is your first time here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button below so you don't miss anything. One of the things to consider is, what industry are you looking to go into? We are a franchisor. We franchise handyman services. So the upfront costs are fairly low. But if you're looking to franchise a restaurant, for example, you've got a lot of capital improvements to a leased site that you need. You may, if you're franchising a McDonald's, for example, the franchise fee alone is hundreds of thousands of dollars, not to mention the equipment costs and whatnot. That's a pretty big investment for maybe knowing what you're doing, maybe not knowing what you're doing. For someone like us, a handyman service, there aren't a lot of upfront expenses, and so it may be easier to do it on your own. However, there's a lot of pitfalls with licensing and hiring and labor laws that you may not consider. And so in that respect, a franchise purchase may be the way to go. There are as many franchises as there are industries. You would be amazed at what you can franchise. Anything from childcare to any service, whether it's painting or food industries or employee leasing. I mean, anything under the sun. So do your research. If you're really considering opening your own business versus franchising a business, the franchised business is going to know a lot of the pitfalls that you're about to encounter that they could coach you to avoid. That's an important part of franchising. By the way, I'm somewhat curious about what industries you're all looking to franchise in. So take a minute and in the comment section below, tell me what industry you're looking to franchise in. And if you have questions, write me out a question, and I promise I will get back to you on that. Even from the beginning, you need to determine how you're going to form your company. For example, you could be a mom and pop shop. You could be, for example, Frank Smith doing business as Joe's Handyman Service, for example. Or you could form an LLC, a legal liability corporation, or you could form a closed corporation or an S corporation. An S corporation is simply a tax denotation. So those are important parts to consider because it all affects how you can be sued, how you're going to be taxed, and if you're going it alone, there's some risk there. However, a franchisor should know the right way to form the organization. So that's one benefit of a franchisor. Of course, you're going to pay for that experience. So again, it all comes down to, you can do it on a shoelace budget, a shoestring budget, and take quite a bit of risk along the way, learning the pitfalls, or you can franchise with somebody who knows the answers, and although you're going to pay for that experience, you're going to avoid a lot of those pitfalls. Another important aspect is the hiring and employee situation. With any luck, your business will be so successful you'll have to hire lots and lots of people. Different states have different rules. You're going to need to become an expert on your state's rules. Or you're going to need to listen to the franchisor tell you how your state operates and work with that franchisor on determining what the best situation is. In other words, are you allowed to use independent contractors in your business, or do they have to be full-blown W-2 employees that you actually take tax out of their paycheck and send it into the government? Or are you just going to write checks in full to the employment for the work that they have provided for your benefit? These are all questions that you're either going to have to find out on your own, or you're going to have to ask your franchisor what the answers are. If, for example, you are opening up a retail outlet, you're going to have to apply for a sales tax license, which makes it so that you collect sales tax on products you sell to the customer. You collect that sales tax, you then have to take that sales tax and send it in to the state. Well, how do you do that? Either you're going to have to do a lot of research to find out how, or your franchisor is going to have to provide you with that information. Typically, they will give you that information. Lastly, and probably most important in my position, is how am I going to get the phone to ring? Without sales, your business is sunk. So are you going to figure out how to get the phone to ring? In other words, are you going to figure out how to get your customers? Or are you going to allow the franchisor to tell you how to get the customers? That's a big question mark. The franchisor is going to have years, if not decades, of experience of exactly how to start from day one on. You as an individual are going to have to figure it out. And that may be worth it to you. After all, you're going to avoid paying a franchise fee and royalties. So there's a lot to consider there. Hey, I've written a short paper on franchising costs. If you're interested, click the link below and I'll send it right over to you. Well, I hope I've given you a few things to think about with opening your own business or buying a franchise. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments section below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next time.